Miss Lauren Collins gave us
She knows who we
lovely
are.
video.
She knows who we are.
She said my name.
Ari, Asha. Paige would never have been friends with a Spirit Squad reject. No, but in all seriousness, I'm obsessed with this idea. I think it's so much fun. From the queen herself. New year, new look, new podcast.
Do you find yourself referring to things as cuckoo bananas?
Are you dreaming of the day Paige Michalchuk will call you hun?
Are you still wondering, whatever happened to Terry?
If so, you're one of us.
I'm Ari.
And I'm Asha.
And we're two friends who learned everything about life from the craziest school on television.
We'll be breaking down every episode of Degrassi The Next Generation and asking the question, does it still go there?
You're listening to
The Spirit Squad Rejects. This is Hallie.
Pause. For the viewers at home who are listening and not actually watching, therefore you're not actually viewers, so I don't know why I called you that in the first place. However, here's an ASMR intro for the ukulele performance that Asha's about to give. Go.
It's out of tune. That's it.
We're back.
We're back.
Hello, Asha.
Hi, Ari. How are you?
I'm doing great. It has been a minute since we filmed the podcast episode.
I know.
We are reviewing episode 7 of Degrassi. It was called Basketball Diaries. We got a lot of Aubrey in this episode. Holy Aubrey.
Graham. That's his only name.
Degrassi Panthers, Jimmy Brooks is on the prowl.
The artist formerly known as Aubrey Graham.
What are you drinking today?
Oh, we're hopping right into it. Alcohol. Okay. So the drink is called Hurricane Aubrey. We got some leftover hurricane mix from New Year's Eve. I was feeling myself. We were having a good time. Home, by the way. Don't be out here partying. We're still in the middle of a pandemic.
Crazy out there, Bray.
Don't have your entire everybody over, because we're not about that life. PSA over. Stay safe. Anyway, hurricane mix and a little bit of vodka. In my mind, I associated hurricane with spinning, but now I realize that I was thinking of a twister. So I'm actually kind of failing from the start of this podcast. However, where we came this far, I'm just going to call it the hurricane.
Don't call me Spinner for nothing.
So my drink is also named after Spinner. It is it was just called the Spin My Head, but it's just a glass of Cabernet because I'm a little dizzy today.
Oh,
probably because I had too much of this, but it's a snow day and I'm being classy with using the wine glass. Granted, please don't judge me that this is a white wine glass with red wine. But I wasn't drinking from the wine glass. I was drinking from the bottle, conveniently covering the label.
My gosh. Wow. Queen. Manuela Santos, move on over.
Oh my gosh.
Also,
her Buss It challenge.
That's where I was going to go.
I was
at the time that we are recording this, Manuela Santos, Cassie Steele, Cassandra Steele, queen of everything, has taken over TikTok, has taken over the gram, has taken over Reels, taken over social media. She's owned it with a bedazzled blue thong and a beautiful baby blue crop top circa 2004. We are the ESPN commentators of Degrassi. I love that. Cheers.
Oh. So today's episode is called Basketball Diaries, or today's episode Degrassi, not our episode.
We have some drugs. We have some sports. We have some Liberty massaging her face.
Liberty, we're on.
She's doing a great job.
This is just sad.
I was like trying that afterwards. I was like,
I don't know why she did that.
Honestly, it feels good.
But you know what? It brings me to storyline B. We're going to start with storyline B for this episode. We switched up our flow a little. We're trying something new.
Our formula.
So stick with us. We're starting with Ashley and Liberty, and then we're going to make our way to the core of this episode, which is Jimmy. So if you want some Aubrey, stick around. So let's hop into Ashley and Liberty. So basically, Ashley does the morning announcements because she is student body president. We know that. You watched episode 2. If you didn't, go back and watch it. But so Liberty, who is the secretary, writes all of the material that Ashley is reading on the morning announcements. Now, it's Canada because they care so much about their schools and their school system that their morning announcements are done on a TV.
So go Panthers, go.
Because we did a bit of shade to America.
A lot of bit of shade. Maybe some bougie schools had it, but I never had a TV for the morning announcements.
I went to a lot of different schools and none of them had that.
Same. It was always like a speaker that sounded like it was like a 1940s like radio.
That's what
100%. But anyway, so Ashley reads these announcements. Everybody's gagged and gooped by Ashley. They think that she is the T. She is the greatest. There is no one greater just because she reads morning announcements.
She's pretty suave. Got it together. It's not suave, it's suave.
So Liberty's feeling some type of way. And of course, who gets in her head? Who plants the seed to make her act up?
Emma Nelson.
You know it. Miss Emma doing the most
Her hair
at
looks
all
okay
times.
today though, so.
Yeah, progressively she's starting to get a little bit better, but it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back in everything regarding Emma.
So Liberty confronts Ashley in the cafeteria. Ashley says,
You're a writer. I'm a performer. You're yin, I'm yang. We're very different.
And that's like the premise of like every artist ever. It's like, no, you're the backup to make me look good. So that's how Ashley was treating Liberty. Liberty continues to ask, then threatens to go on strike. Better go ahead, Liberty. So Ashley says yes. She's like, fine, Liberty,
like, whatever.
Go ahead. Like, that's what got Ashley. Ashley, her whole face was like, oh, go ahead. You can do it. Go do the pre-game announcements.
Ashley's out here. Let me just say, Ashley is out here setting up nighttime dances. She is no president. I don't care what side you're on. No president has stuck to their word the way Ashley Kerwin has stuck to her word. She said, I'm going to get you people on night dance. Next episode, Degrassi's first night dance.
And it was a success. Despite Terry slipping. But it was fine. But Liberty was feeling underappreciated. I'm feeling really unappreciated. So Liberty chokes on camera. She starts out by massaging her face. And then the cameraman lets her go for like 3 minutes.
A long time.
Before she's like, Liberty, we're live. And Liberty stays like this. And then she's like choking on her words.
Today, the Degrassi Panthers start a whole new season of basketball.
Fumbling all of her cue cards. And in the meantime, Ashley's watching in homeroom. Everyone's hilariously laughing at her, making fun of her, trying to figure out what's up with her. And Paige, I love Paige, but Paige is a jerk. And she compliments Ashley for making a fool out of Liberty. She's like, hey.
Good job, Ash. I'm impressed. You totally set her up.
It was rude, but that's what it came across.
I also just think that they wanted to like give Paige a moment this episode because she had 2 lines. It was that line, and she said, "And
remember, Madame Paget, I've been told I have a perfect Parisian accent."
She said that.
Yeah.
And had nothing to do with the episode. I didn't need your French accent. Congratulations.
But you remember it, right? You remembered it.
And you know what?
That's the thing, is that we remembered it. So she had her little uninspired lines.
I mean, you just wanted to give Paige her line, her moment this episode. Just squeeze her in there as much as you can. Whatever, fine. They did it. That's all I had to say.
So Ashley later finds Liberty crying in the bathroom. She's humiliated. Then Ashley decides to coach Liberty through the next announcements, which is the results of the basketball game. And Liberty is successful. We're going to get to the basketball game, don't worry.
So many thoughts on this storyline. Even though it was a B storyline, I actually really enjoyed it. I get it. I get that that's like rough if you have put out some sort of work and someone else is sort of like taking credit for it. That's rough. I also understand the dynamics of like you, and I'm not being shady in the least bit, but like you're the secretary and Ashley's the president. So it is just kind of like the nature of student body, student council, I guess you could call it. So I get both sides. I feel Liberty. I also feel Ashley, who's just like back.
Stay off my turf. I just want to start by saying, I mean, Liberty was late. She was late giving, like with her assignment, giving in the notes. Ashley's reaction could have been better. And I can see how if Ashley had been a little more understanding and a little more compassionate towards Liberty, it probably wouldn't have turned out the way it did.
But can we throw back to like last episode or 2 episodes ago when Emma was like 10 minutes late with her assignment and Liberty was like,
The grapevine deadline is 4 p.m. I'm trying to run a professional operation.
No, I mean, yeah. What's the phrase? I almost said say it, don't spray it. That's not the phrase. It's practice what you preach. That's the one. But I do believe that probably the heaviest theme in this story arc is to lift each other up and to support each other. I feel like, granted, they're in middle school, but if Ashley had been a little more understanding and like try to figure out, well, why does Liberty feel this way? And Liberty had maybe practiced a little more and try to figure out, well, why does Ashley feel like she's the only one that can do this? It could have, like, a little more understanding could have fostered a better experience in this setting. But also, if Liberty comes to you with concerns and you being her elder and like, I want to say like technically her boss or whatever, you could show her the way. You could have been like, let me help you do this. And then once in a while, we can do this together.
valid points.
Lift each other up. Don't break each other down.
Yep. Say it again for the people in the back.
Lift each other up, woman. Don't break each other down.
I don't dislike Ashley, but shout out to her because I was really feeling her this episode just from like growth. Like when we see how she is in episode 2 with Toby, this is kind of a different Ashley to acknowledge the fit, because she really could have just been like, I told you so. I told you that I am the queen and you cannot come from my spot and you messed up. Ha ha. Sit back down and write my morning announcements. And she didn't. I thought that was like really, that was growth to be like, you know what? Sure. She made a fool of herself. Did I know this was going to happen? Yes. Is she going to come from my spot? Absolutely not. However, I'm going to take this time to really like nurture her, walk her through this. And I mean, that's very mature for 14.
I agree.
Claps for Ashley. But yeah, so that was storyline B. The main event that you have all been waiting for.
Is this A?
Aubrey has arrived. The main event is those pink nails.
Oh. I was like, is there something we didn't discuss? What are you talking about?
Show them to the camera.
They need to be done. It's February. It's Black History Month. It's my birthday month. I'm showing up with pink nails.
We are on to the main event, which is Jimmy Brooks.
Degrassi Panthers, Jimmy Brooks is on the prowl.
Jimmy, dedicated to basketball, but his grades are slipping. He's handing in late assignments to Queen Kwan. We don't do that. I would do stupid stuff like not hand in an assignment because I thought it was beneath me. He can't handle both schoolwork and basketball, which I feel like is a common thing, not just for like middle school and high school students, but in college, like it's difficult. I'm not saying it's not. It's difficult to balance extracurriculars and schoolwork.
I mean, do you remember trying to do homework and also having like crazy, like 5-hour play practices?
5-hour play practices with no lunch break. Do you remember those? Like
Yeah.
never eating, just staying there until 8 o'clock at night.
Making memories. That's real. I get it. I understand that he's probably having a difficult time. However, if Queen Kwan asks you,
which character do you relate to?
Well, that's a very interesting question, Miss Kwan.
maybe do like a tiny bit of research and don't say that you relate to the Lord of the Flies, which is literally just a pig. Right?
Maybe,
Isn't it a pig?
I don't remember. I didn't read the book. I couldn't balance schoolwork and the play. I finished Spanish class with a grand total of a 25%. So
yeah, but it's like also, I mean, like, come on, common sense. If somebody says like, if you're reading like To Kill a Mockingbird and your teacher's like, who do you relate to? And you're like, I really relate to the Mockingbird. You deserve to be kicked out of class, especially if it's Kwan. She has better things to do.
So if you haven't watched the previous episodes, we do find out that Spinner's actual name is Gavin. But the reason they call him Spinner is because he takes Ritalin. Ritalin is a drug that's good for you if it's prescribed to you. Do not take Ritalin unless a doctor prescribes that to you.
Like any prescription drug.
Like any prescription drug.
Yeah.
Do not take a drug that does not have your name on it.
It is appropriate when used appropriately.
Don't do drugs. Oh, no. Spinner is taking Ritalin because his energy is super high. The chemicals in his brain make him very, very energetic. So he takes Ritalin to calm him down. But this is a quote. This is not something that I believe. Spinner says,
but for normal people, exact opposite. It's like speed.
But it's basically people without ADHD, ADD, things of that nature. But Jimmy convinces Spinner to give him a pill, which means Spinner has to miss his last dose, and it's something that he really needs. It's because Jimmy ends up pulling an all-nighter to finish an assignment for Miss Kwan. He's so beat. It's the day of the game. During the game, both Jimmy and Spinner start tweaking.
You know it, coach. You know it.
Spinner's yelling, getting rowdy. He dances during the halftime show and he moons the crowd.
Yo, Degrassi, who needs some halftime entertainment?
I mean, I've never mooned anyone, but
I mean, just thinking about, like, I think the Super Bowl is coming up next week or sometime this month. And I'm just saying, like, if that was a halftime show, his dancing was everything because it wasn't even dancing.
It was just a lot of jumping. It was just like,
it was a lot of jumping, a lot of gyrations. And then he threw in a moon at the end. Although one of my favorite Super Bowl halftime performances was Janet Jackson. So I'm just saying maybe
Nipplegate,
but this episode came out before then. So do we think that Queen Janet was maybe inspired by an episode of Degrassi where she saw Spinner, Gavin Mason performing at the basketball halftime show? Do we think that Queen Janet watches Degrassi?
A, I do think Janet Jackson watches Degrassi. B, I have a lot of comments because I just read something about Nipplegate. Justin Timberlake got no backlash from that. Janet Jackson got all the backlash, like she tore off her own costume, right?
Yeah.
So
hashtag justice for Janet.
Word, because she was like basically canceled after that. And like that wasn't her fault. And I'm deeply offended. And I feel like people come for Black women 20 times more than they come for anybody else. And I just don't understand it. This has nothing to do with the episode. It's just something I've been passionately feeling for the past couple days.
But word, I completely agree. I think it's a double standard. I think she got so much flack, A, because she's a woman, and 100 times more flack because she's a Black woman. That is a fact. Also, wait. He had his own Super Bowl halftime show. However many years later, his own dedicated show. Is Janet gonna get a redo? I'm just saying. Anyway, moving on. #justice for Janet.
So Jimmy gets angry on the court after Spinner moons the crowd when Sean won't pass the ball. So he intentionally runs over to him, knocks him over. He gets the ball, shoots, and he ends up winning the game. Coach Armstrong, not feeling it. He's pissed. He doesn't care that Jimmy had the winning shot, and he ends up being cut from the team.
It's the best I've ever played. In terms of scoring, yes. You weren't a team player. Sorry, Jimmy. You're cut.
All that work, all that riddling was for nothing because you ended up getting cut from the team. Hugs, not drugs, kids.
Unless you are prescribed by a doctor, like Gavin was, like Gavin Spinner Mason.
Like Asha is.
If that is not the situation, then do not take something that does not belong to you. Couple things. One, this is just a random moment that I want to point out. There is a scene where Jimmy and Spinner are in the locker room, and it's when the exchange happens of the drugs. Spinner is just like standing in the background. You could tell that he did not know what he was supposed to be doing, squeezing the balls on the rack while Jimmy's talking. I just thought that was so funny because it was just like, we've all had that moment if you are a theater kid where you're in the background and you forget that you're in the background and you're also like, what am I supposed to be doing right now?
But then still has to like sort of react to what's going on and what's being said to him. But like you're waiting for that moment to actually respond. So you're like,
But so to really dive into Jimmy's storyline, like we said, it is hard to have extracurricular activities and also be a good student. Like that's difficult. So I feel him. Can't relate because I never tried to take anybody's prescription meds. That was not my judge. So can't relate there.
You know it, coach. You know it.
I do think that there needs to be a restructuring of academia when it comes to prioritizing. Like there needs to be a class on time management. Even the instance, which kind of annoyed me, when Jimmy's sitting down and he's reading his book during practice. Armstrong's like,
Jimmy, why don't you give it a go? Or you can keep reading if you want to.
Like, kind of makes fun of him instead of being like encouraging for trying to balance both. So that really does pressure Jimmy to feel like he needs to do the most. And instead of in order to be on the basketball team, you need to do well in school. Like that's just how everything is. It could have been taught to Jimmy how to manage your time and manage your activities. I don't have the answers on how to do that because I'm still, I have all these projects that I'm doing and I still don't really know how to manage my time properly with when it comes to everything. So yeah, it's hard. I mean, often we do choose to run to something that seems like the easy fix, and it's not. Ritalin wasn't an easy fix. Ritalin made things worse.
And I agree. And you know what I really liked about this episode too is the fact that he did win the game. The easiest route that they could have gone down would have been he takes the Ritalin, he starts acting up and loses the game. That would have been the easy way out. But what I liked about this episode was the fact that he took the Ritalin, was acting up during the game, very much so acting up, but still had the winning shot, still won the game. He has this moment where he's like really feeling himself and he's like, did you see that? Like I had the winning shot and all of that. And Armstrong is like, yeah, but did you also see that in the process, you completely went against your own team, knocked down one of your team members and injured them? You are off the team. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, that's a great message because it's kind of like what you said, when you take the easy way out. Not that I'm saying prescription drugs or any type of drugs are the easy way out.
Also, Spirit Squad Rejects and the hosts of the show do not support or endorse any type of prescription drug taking that was not prescribed directly to you. Yeah.
That's my legal announcement. But to go back to what I was saying, he, went down a route that he shouldn't have. And yeah, he got the end goal that he wanted, which was to be the star player. But look the collateral damage and everything that was just messed up because he went down that route.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought, bravo to Degrassi. I like that they went down that route.
I like that episode.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Also, now we're going to converge storyline A and storyline B. So once Jimmy, or I should say once Degrassi wins, because Jimmy does not win this episode, Degrassi wins. Once Degrassi wins the basketball game, Liberty goes back on the announcements. She has been coached. She's prepped and ready. Ashley has walked her through it, and she kills it. She announces to the school that
our team just kicked some serious Earl Grey butt. With an
Liberty said butt?
Finish. Just before the buzzer, we scored an awesome 3-pointer, winning the game 39-37.
Kills it, and then that is when Ashley has her moment, and she's like, I knew you could do it. I had faith in you. You killed it. And you will do an amazing job next year when I've graduated. And that was her low-key saying, like, don't try it again.
Mm-hmm. Let me have my moment for the next 8 episodes.
In Degrassi land, that's like a whole semester.
Listen, it's not until later seasons that the semesters last longer, but every season's a new year. Not semester, a new year.
Which is funny because we're like halfway into season 1 and I haven't seen any snow on the ground. Like, it's got to be winter break by now.
We probably will never see winter break. They'll just be wearing coats all of a sudden and it's like, oh, it got cold? When?
Yeah, they go from like full on like shorts to parkas.
That's because in Canada, summer lasts like 5 minutes.
In Canada, summer lasts 5 minutes, but in Degrassi, it lasts 10 episodes. And we love them for it. It's time to Degrassi Go There. Cue the music. It's time to Degrassi Go There. Yeah. My Degrassi Goes There moment, or the moment that Degrassi goes there for me, is the actual basketball game. That is my Degrassi Goes There moment because A, it is a PSA for why you should not do any drugs that were not prescribed to you. And B, that moment popped off. Like, Jimmy was popping off, Spinner was popping off. Mr. Armstrong was like trying so hard not to. But also, again, did you not know that he was on drugs? Come on, Mr. Armstrong.
You looked to him like he was on drugs.
Miss Kwan would have known. What a moment.
Yeah. It's kind of scary. And to be perfectly honest, like, they could have taken this to like a darker place where like Jimmy like hurts himself or like that messes up his body, because like there's a reason you're prescribed certain drugs. Spinner even mentions at the beginning of this episode,
since they upped my Ritalin, I'm like a complete zombie.
So he even has a higher dosage than he had before.
Yeah, it's like you just said, he's very lucky that he didn't hurt himself. What's your Degrassi Goes There moment?
The moment for me, honestly, was the exchanging of drugs in Kwan's class. That like, because not only was it like 2 friends, one friend's peer pressuring another friend to give him a drug. He's like, listen, I'm B, I really need help with this. I want to make the team. And then his other friend's like, but this is my last dose. And he's like, this is my last dose, and this is the one I need to take. And then he doesn't take it. And you know what? That went there for me because I was like, wow, that's like messed up on like different levels. And what didn't occur to me till just now, imagine how that might affect Spinner later. They already upped his dose, right? And if he didn't take his last dose and they recorded as if he took his last dose and it still didn't work the way it's supposed to, they might up his dose even more.
Yeah.
You can mess Spinner up in the long run with that. So that was messed up for me.
That's a really great point. I didn't even think about that. Medicine like that, prescription medication like that, that's so strong. When you miss a dose, like, it actually really messes with your mind and messes you up, like, in the long run, like you just said. So that is such a good point. I didn't even think about that. And again, it goes to show, like, when you're that age, you just don't think about any type of ramifications long-term repercussions that can come from these types of like poor decisions. So I agree. But alas, we are at the end of the episode. This was a good one. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. At the expense of Jimmy and Spinner, which is sad.
And Sean.
And Sean. Wow.
And
You know
Liberty.
what? You know what? Oh my gosh. It all makes sense. Now I know why Emma was at the game. You know she doesn't care about sports. That's why she was flapping around.
For Sean.
For Sean. For Shema.
Shema.
This is a great way to end the podcast. I updated my vision board for 2021 because yes, I am all about manifesting positive vibes and good energy. And you got to put it out into the universe. Tell the universe what you want. Did I put a picture of Miss Manuela Santos, Miss Paige Michalchuk, and Miss Ellie Nash on my vision board because I want them on this podcast all at different times or all at once? Yes, I did. And that is the energy we need in 2021.
I'll at your boy.
All right. Again, everyone, thanks for listening. Like the video down below. If you are listening to us on Apple or wherever you listen to your podcast, give us a good rating, leave us a comment. If you're on YouTube, leave a comment down below. We want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts. Maybe you don't agree with our opinions. Maybe you think something else about Ashley or Liberty or Jimmy, whatever. We want to hear it. So comment down below. Give us a big old thumbs up, subscribe, and stay tuned for our next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye. I'm really bad at speaking. I was just really hyped.
It's fine. You were the spinner to my Jimmy.
Yeah, next time I'll moon our audience. Yeah.
We love that. You already did with those pink nails.